In 1838, the Iowa Territory was organized, and the United States jumped the shark. This is The Revisionists. Welcome to The Revisionists. I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Zach Powers.
And we wanted to record a little introductory episode to the podcast for everyone to sort of explain the concept. Right now, Zach, you're going to ask me a couple questions about the podcast, I believe.
Yeah, I am. Brian, you found me on the street, and I know nothing about this venture.
Mm-hmm.
And
I, Eliza Doolittle, you.
Yeah, exactly. I was speaking with a heavy Cockney accent not 30 minutes ago.
And really, I do amazing work.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? My Fair Lady, if you were the star, would have been 15 minutes long. And new programs scare and frighten me, because I'm used to the old-fashioned way.
Yep.
Family Matters is the only show I ever watch.
That's the Family Matters is the old-fashioned way to you.
Which one is the one with Archie Bunker?
All in the Family.
Wanted to say that one.
Family Matters is the one with Urkel.
The African-American
and
family.
Stefan
Yes.
Urkel, also. The mad scientist, suave version of Urkel.
Well, it was all in the 80s before I was born.
I think Family Matters was in the 90s. But anyway, and All in the Family was in the 70s. You're a mess.
Fair enough. That's why I'm on this history podcast. God damn. Was seriously though? Was All in the Family after Reginald Bell Johnson was on Die Hard?
You mean Family Matters?
Family Matters. I thought he was on that before he was in Die Hard.
It may have been concurrent. I don't know.
Okay.
We can look up his IMDb page later.
So this is just a taste of the kind of historical revisionism.
Of the nonsense.
The historical revisionism you're going to get on this show. What if Family Matters aired in the 80s?
That we can make that a topic.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
Yes.
Brian, you've got this show called The Revisionists. Well, that can mean a lot of things.
Yes.
Maybe it's someone going through the minutes on a Bush-era decision to invade Iraq and making it about Osama bin Laden instead of, say, more practical matters. Is that what your podcast is about? Rewriting history?
In a way, yes, it is. Maybe not that specific of a thing. Every episode, there's a random drawing of a topic or a person from history. And one host presents an actual true account of that story, and another host gets to present a crazy alternate history. Then the audience gets to vote, and the third host gets a vote on which version they like better. And the winning version becomes our accepted history. And every story you tell after that has to be based in what the accepted history is. Whether that's true or whether it's crazy comic book bullshit.
Okay, so the true history is going to be altered by the potentially fictional events that our guests or ourselves make up in our beds while laying there alone at night. We're all lonely people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Incredibly lonely.
We have time to create alternate histories. Clearly, we don't have the love of a significant other. Is there a way for people to potentially keep track who jump on later?
Yes. Each episode will be posted on the blog at revisionistpodcast.com with a brief recap of whatever relevant history affects the story told that episode.
Perfect. If I may, what sort of podcasts are people going to get out of this? Are you going for more of a Fresh Air with Terry Gross vibe? Or more of a Comedy Bang Bang with Scott Aukerman vibe?
Are those my choices?
Those are the only two kinds of podcasts.
Those are the only two kinds of podcasts. Sort of off the wall and crazy and fun, because we're comics and pretty much all of the guests will be comics.
Are you saying we're not going to give significant moments in history? Such as Hannibal crossing the Alps?
Actually, Hannibal is on the list.
The due respect and revere that they probably deserve?
No, we will not.
Okay.
Basically,
instead, we're going to make puns about elephants.
Yeah, basically, that's gonna be most of the. I've already started writing elephant puns, actually.
Me too. I have a pretty good list. I have about 40. I think it's going to take up most of the episode.
That's fine. We could do a special mini episode for that.
And where did he get them? Do you just rent elephants? That's just a preview.
That's not a pun. That's not a pun.
I know what a pun is, Brian. That's like the observational part of the episode.
Oh, okay. Oh, you have different parts of the episode. We could do a two-parter also. Okay. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the elephants.
But basically, yes, out of my deep, abiding love for history and the minutia of history, each episode we're going to end up taking a giant shit on history, which I think will turn out great, and I'm very excited for it.
Okay. One more question. If God exists, what would you like him to say when you reach the pearly gates?
I stuck with your podcast for longer than most.
One of the drawbacks of being omnipresent is you have to listen to all of the podcasts.
Yes, that's why God killed himself a few years ago.
Right. About 2008.
Yeah.
Too many.
Basically the time the iPhone came out and made podcasts.
Everybody has a voice now. Are you fucking kidding me?
Prayers were bad enough.
And if for some reason you enjoyed this, you could also...
Because you're trapped or have a chemical imbalance.
Yeah. If you are trapped in a psychotic stranger's basement, and for some reason the only piece of joy is him listening to this podcast in the other room, and thus it's a pleasurable experience, in contrast.
Keep selling it. Keep selling it.
You can hear more of Brian and myself, and theoretically other people, on a podcast that's to be released, first episode in a few weeks from the airing of this one, called Movie Whiplash.
Movie Whiplash.
Movie Whiplash.
Movie Whiplash.
The only podcast called Movie Whiplash, where we will not be discussing the movie Whiplash.
Oh, we won't be discussing the movie
Well,
Whiplash.
one episode we actually will be. Essentially, we've created a list of the best and worst movies of all time. We were watching one of each for each episode, and comparing and contrasting, hopefully humorously, but potentially to our own detriment and loss of sanity.
All right, so that's the Movie Whiplash podcast.
The Movie Whiplash podcast.
The Movie Whiplash podcast.
That's too much.
This
is
applied
directly to the forehead.
I put too much stank on it.
Applied directly to the forehead level shit.
Deep cut. Well, our first episode should be coming out next week. It'll be Alexander the Great with our special guest, Keira McKalen, a very, very funny local comic here in Denver. So, for everyone here at The Revisionists, I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Zach Powers.
Thanks, and we hope to see you soon.